Forget this is a best of 5 bout. We're going to see Stripe up against Superman. Honestly, with how they've been doing tonight, I'm backing Malignant here.
I'm just saying that Malignant did 2-0 Anthos in the winner's side. And if Anthos can't clutch the fuck up, he might have to, in this game 1, he might need to switch to the Wonder Woman. I know that we saw Anthos 3-0
Don't
Misty,
have to do this, but if you insist.
but he needs to find these openings that Stripe actually, once again, with the self-ignition, with the chainsaw, makes it really hard to do, as Auto actually finds these early damage lead, 53-12, but Anthos opens up once again, getting the Stripe off stage, off the corner, needing to fight his way back onto the middle.
I mean, the mental in this fight is going to be really easy, really interesting to analyze. Not easy whatsoever, because let's not forget, Malignant is the reason that Anthos got sent into lower bracket in the first place, and Malignant is going to immediately follow that up with elimination of their own. They've taken 80 damage for it, but Malignant already is stock up. The reason Anthos was sent into this bracket in the first place, that's why I'm backing Malignant. He's proven he can get past the Superman already.
This is the difference between Anthos and myself. At this point, I'm already thinking about game 2. Because I'm in losing bracket. I lost this player before. I'm like, oh, I need to do character change. But Anthos fight back, evening up the stock count. I know it's a 51 damage deficit, but if anybody can do it, it is the Superman himself, Anthos, as he maintains his lead on the ledge, but uses up all of his resources and dies without any retaliation from the Stripe. That was an SD for all intents and purposes.
Looks like Anthos went for the grab there, but Stripe has the counter for it. And like you said, Anthos didn't have anything left to counter the counter. He is going to even up these stocks. We're going 41-0. 5 minutes left on the clock, only 2 minutes into this matchup. There is the self-ignition. There's the aerial juggle, but Anthos is able to dodge out of the killing blow. Already at 81 though. The amount of damage that Stripe can deal in such a short amount of time is terrifying. There is the grab from the Superman, trying to slowly chip away with that frost breath, it looks like, but there is the self-ignition from Malignant. He is going to be looking for that final blow. Anthos now dancing around it very carefully, goes for the uppercut and sneaks a victory. Anthos is going to take the first point.
Both the stock 2 and stock 3 for the Superman. What's so fucking wild, those are both sequences that I've never seen Anthos pull out in these tournament sets. That's crazy. The side B into the side air, the jab combo into the up tilt, into the ammo read, your dodge into the kill. That's fucking crazy. Anthos is evolving. That's something you have to consider when you're MalignantAuto. This isn't winner's side. This is loser's side. All of a sudden, stakes are a lot higher. And that's probably why there's a little bit of a pause going into game 2. As MalignantAuto needs to consider the facts. Consider the statements. Consider the allegations of game 1. While leaning into game 2 to maybe even up the game count.
No, you're absolutely right. Anthos is no longer in a position where he can just steamroll the entire competition week after week after week. 10 weeks into this kind of series, you know, everyone's seen Anthos play now, and they all know how to counter his moveset. They know how to counter his typical moves, his typical signature abilities, and that is exactly what Stripe has done with the constant use of the self-detonate, the constant use of that firearm that he's able to pull out, the maneuverability of Stripe, being able to avoid those grabs and avoid getting underneath Superman where the ice breath is not as effective is an incredible analysis on Malignant's part. Looks like Anthos is going to try and keep the distance a little bit, create that spacing, wanting to play nice and slow, but there is Stripe able to pincer Superman from underneath gets a beautiful attack in from there. Superman able to break through the ignition, but it looks like the firearm is going to be dealing the chip damage that's needed. A very even matchup as Anthos gets that first elimination on the board. But Stripe could very easily even this up. Currently 1-0 to Anthos, 6 minutes left on the clock.
But I know that Stripe has a 40 damage deficit on their second stock. But it's not something interesting going on here, where Auto is very comfortable being 30, 40, 50 damage up, still self-explanatory. They know that a stray hit leads to a huge combo that evens the damage count up. If not the damage count, then actually the stock count. Look at this deficit, it's 87 to 25, but Auto is still being aggressive, still using that self-detonate, taking that 10 to 12 damage. Oh no, bad arena on the command grab, takes a little bit extra, letting Superman reset everything back to neutral, being down for stock. This is an uphill battle all of a sudden for Auto, but if we've seen anybody do this kind of shenanigans, is Auto.
No, absolutely there. Iron Man's hyper armor during that upwards sort of double hand uppercut can sometimes be the difference between an elimination and staying alive. Also now trying to hold on as best he can, using that long range to try and stay away from Anthos, avoiding the grabs as best he can. For the most part, he has been able to read the dodges just well enough to survive, but the more he uses the self-detonation, the harder it's going to be for him to hold on. And again, he misjudges the distance on the grab there, and Anthos is able to get enough damage out to start putting him closer and closer into kill range. It's getting really dangerous. He's not able to secure the stock elimination there with the firearm. Throws the frozen buzzsaw over at him. But here comes that cycle from Anthos. And he claims the second point immediately.
I'm not entirely sure if it is a ping difference or an experience difference. But Auto is pulling trigger just slightly too early. I think you and I both feel the potential for each one of those jump-ins, each one of those chainsaw hop-ins, those self-detonate gap closers. We can feel each one potentially going into some bullshit. But Anthos doing a really good job of playing slightly more defensively and capitalizing on the fact that Auto just commits to a move, and once they commit to a move, who is better at punishing than Anthos? Nobody. Nobody's better. Literally nobody's better at punishing hard committal moves than this man, this Superman in this game.
Very strong claim to make as we go to the third round. Going to Trophy's Edge for this one. If Anthos is able to secure the victory here, he is going to get the point he needs to push over to the finals. MalignantAuto obviously on a bit of a back foot here, but those floating platforms may benefit him and the buzzsaws, trying to get above that slightly larger hitbox that Superman has. Playing very careful, playing hit and run here, gets hit by the detonation, and now the chainsaw that is spec'd in on with the perks deals a fair amount of damage. It doesn't look like he's going to be able to capitalize on it though. And once again, Anthos securing that ledge right there. Very, very common play from this performer. Very, very important that Malignant is able to keep him away from that as best he can. The floating platform's obviously going to help with that, but Anthos is dodging once again on point. He does exhaust himself a little bit here, and it is going to allow the Stripe to get the elimination. Anthos may have dodged one time too many, and now he is an entire stock behind.
What a fucking reset. I don't know if you saw, but Auto did a slight stutter in his pressure against the Superman, leading to
Don't
that
make me do
first
this.
stock kill. Dodging out now. All of this is just extra damage. That
Oh,
kill
I
kind of felt like a
believe-
disconnect.
Yep. I believe we have another connection problem on Auto's side here. We're gonna try and get this sort of view as quickly as we can.